Good evening, Australia. Welcome to Psychic TV International. Thursday night, I am your host, Michael Dimarco, back to your regular viewing schedule. So I know last week Harry T actually hosted the show and actually interviewed me. I don't know if you have quite enjoyed that, and there will be a part 2 of that coming along at some stage, so look out for that. But tonight we have the beautiful Jacqui Krystal joining us again. It's always great to have her company on our show tonight. And we always go into quite deep and meaningful conversations every time Jackie's on. So definitely, you've tuned into a really great night. You'll definitely learn something, guaranteed, tonight. But so tonight's theme, we're going to go down the path of, we're looking at the idea of endings in a sense. So obviously, as this year's coming to an end, I know we've still got a year. Feels like a year now. We've still got a month and a bit left of the year is what I'm trying to say. We are a lot of us are naturally, I think, winding down, starting to sort of plan what the end of the year looks like for us. So we can welcome in new energy and fresh energy coming into the new year. So we're going to kind of explore that theme a little bit of sort of endings, conclusions, and that sort of wrapping up type feeling. And also considering too, this is a number 9 year. So the year itself is all about endings as well. So it's quite a big topic tonight. And we're just going to kind of see where the script takes us. We obviously don't have a script. It's all off script and all organic, but just sort of going down that path to see what kind of flows energetically in regards to those conversations, and maybe kind of helping you come to some conclusions, whether it's in work, maybe even a relationship, maybe just in personal life. There's so many areas that we can explore in that sense and sort of help kind of give some generalized information around that. So, and if you do have any sort of questions as well, so we're not doing psychic readings tonight as normal, but if you do have any sort of spiritual related questions around sort of endings, conclusions, that sort of theme, definitely join in on the chat and let us know. Hi, Andrew. Good to see you there. As always, and Jessica as well. So if you can share this page, like us if you feel like it, but yeah, like and share this page. Definitely sharing's the more preferred option, because we want to reach as many people as we possibly can out there. So if you can share this page, that'll be really, really helpful to us as well. Of course, as always, you can go to psychictvinternational.com for an actual detailed reading with one of our psychics. Blessed Beth is actually on a call, so her pin is 9150. She's currently on a call at the moment. She might be in the thread as well. She normally joins in as well, but she's currently on a call. Leanne is also on a call. So it looks like we're going to have another busy night tonight. So Leanne is on a call. Her pin is 9131, but she has said it currently is on a call. But available to take your call right now is Amazing Grace on pin 9888. Jag, our UK psychic, on pin 9160, Mystical L on pin 9151, and Natalie Norm Baker available on pin 9810. But as I said, Blessed Beth and Leanne are currently on a call, and hopefully by the end of that, I will be able to speak English well. My brain and mouth just aren't keeping up today. I do apologize. Hi, Cassandra from YouTube. So we've got YouTube working as well, so it's great to see you from YouTube. All right, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to bring our beautiful guest on. So please welcome to the stage, Jacqui. Hello.
Hello, everyone. How are we?
Good. Good to see your smiling face again, and love the background.
Thank you very much, and awesome to be here as always. And I'm relating to the mouth head thing.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's well, I don't know, because you're up in Queensland, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, so you probably didn't see it last night. So we had the Aurora Lights here in Victoria.
Wow.
I don't know if people have been seeing pictures. A few pictures have been uploaded through social media. So I think you have to kind of be down the bottom end of New South Wales and like Victoria area to really sort of, it's a lower part of Australia that got to be able to see it. And yeah, I took a photo last night and uploaded it to my socials, and it was quite spectacular. The greens and the purples in the sky were really quite beautiful.
It's amazing. Did you feel the energetics of that as well when you're down there?
I do. I feel, yeah, I'm going to say, yeah. To be honest, not really, but I know I did, if that makes sense. And I think that's why they're head and mouth today. I know I didn't sleep well last night, so I don't know if that's because the energy was quite heightened and quite, exciting, that I didn't have like a restful sleep. So today I've just been a bit in that zombie state of like, and you kind of go, well, I haven't done anything physical, but yeah, I do think energetically that's probably what's done it.
Absolutely. No, I think we all can relate to different times, especially if you haven't had a good night's sleep. Yeah, that's very relatable.
Yeah. So we are going to sort of talk about the idea of endings, so to speak, and there's different sort of almost terminologies. There's conclusions, wrapping up, finalizing, concluding, endings, basically, depending on the glamorized name of it or what. So I'm going to sort of throw just a really simple question at you. What does endings mean to you?
As you're speaking, I'm like, it's the exhale on the breath. That's what endings are to me. So
Okay.
yeah, I know, right? Because as you inhale, it's the beginning, the initiation, the bringing in. And as you exhale, the letting go, the surrender, the release side of things. And to me, the ending is a little bit like it could be the turning point of that breath, or it could actually be where the breath has run out the bottom of the exhale. So depending again what you want to have association to, but for me, endings are very natural. You've got to take the next breath in again, so you need to exhale for that to happen. But there can be a lot of fear associated with that. If it's the bottom of a breath and you don't know how to inhale again, you'll be like a little bit panicked. If it's the top of a breath, you might feel enlarged and open and magnetic at some level. So yeah, to me, as broad as that might sound, that's my association, generically to endings. Yeah, everyone
I
has.
like that. Yeah. I think everyone just took a big breath then.
Yeah, breathing.
I know I did.
There is
But I like that. Yeah.
of
What was
that
that?
though. There is a reminder of that as well. Not only are endings natural, cyclical in nature, but to breathe through any challenge in endings is very necessary to pace yourself to become present. That can definitely be drawn upon in endings. But again, if you have an exciting ending per se, and some have relief, they get to the end of the year and go, phew, done, I can exhale, So
It's so true. Like how, and this is what I love talking about you, Jacqui, is that you just come up with these analogies or examples or just visuals even that are so relatable that you just almost wouldn't think about it in an obvious sense, but you make it sound so like, well, yeah, this is like, what happens. And it's so true in regards to the breath. Like, like as you said, we get to the end of the year or an end of an exam or the end of a deadline for jobs or things like that, and we sort of do this natural, I can breathe again, because it's like we weren't breathing in the meantime, like because we're like almost holding our breath in anticipation, or we bring in that sort of new energy and we hold into it, and then we can finally let it go when it's completed.
And also I feel, as macabre as this sounds, end of life, last breath can also be associated. So yeah, it is an interesting analogy. It's one that just came to me in the moment, but that's the nature of my guides, bless them. So yeah,
Well, I
feel
think last time when we talked about, I think love was a topic that we talked about last time, and I can remember, it'll probably come to me later, but there was another example that you gave on that. So it's kind of that came to you in the moment. So it's really interesting how these descriptions in a way that the way they come. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so I mean, like exciting endings. I want to have a little bit of a look at that though, because I just feel a lot of us, particularly, can live in trepidation. That uncertainty, but I feel like excitement is, and it's interesting because chemically, excitement and fear are actually on the same production level with cortisols, and it's literally which way you want to see it. Do you want to see it in the fear spectrum, or do you want to see it in the excitement spectrum? And the anticipation, do you want to feel good, feel bad? So when it comes to endings, it can also be about educating ourselves how we want to respond as well, and retraining your brain sometimes. We have been trained a lot through scary movies and all other aspects of life, but even how we've been raised, and conditioned the whole way through, that it has to be a certain way. That ending has to end a certain way. It has to be traumatic or dramatic or not. But we have the choice in the moment when it comes to endings. Again, coming back to exhalation, do you want to do that slowly? Do you want to do that with ease? Do you want to just sigh it out? Your control mechanism still sits within the natural state of the progression of that. So, yeah, food for thought anyway.
Yeah, well, and it's so true too, because like you're talking about the fear and the excitement, being on the sort of same page there. And it's so true in a lot of respects. Like with us going live, for example, I know myself and others, if they're going to do a public speaking event, anything that's kind of public or anything that may be out of our comfort zone, going on air, going on a live show, things like that, people often confuse that excitement for fear, and it stops them sometimes from going on stage because they're so scared. But I sort of, like, as you said, when I speak to clients that are going through that, I kind of say, well, it might be confusing you as fear, but it's actually excitement, and it's normal. And it's learning to, suppose, turn that into the encouragement to go on, we'll do that public speaking, or tell that person you love them. It's like using that to your benefit.
Yes, yeah. I love that educational zone where you can harness energy. So it's like harnessing the out breath. And actually, it's where all our release stuff comes in. Our stress, de-stressors come on that out breath. And so in connection with, like, say, public speaking and the fear and again, all that chemical responsiveness, it's about, okay, how can I harness this? One, I need to tweak maybe my attitude around it. So yeah, excitement versus fear. But if I can't convince myself of that in the moment, how am I going to convince myself this is a good ending? This has a good ending, a good outcome, because we are very outcome attached as we are conditioned to be. And sometimes we've got to become very present in endings. And I think that's also the beauty in it, the gift in it as well, that we do have to partake as we wish to in it, but understand that the choice within it, the control of it, that's something we can explore. Yeah, because I see a lot of people, obviously, we all would as mediums specifically, but also any line of work can have exposures to that, and not just work, personal lives, So at every level, grief is available to us. And how do we touch on it? How do we deal with it? At some level, it's always about the choosing within it, and that's what the threat of endings can also bring to the forefront. To say, how do you choose your own adventure to be concluded? Like, it can be exploratory. You may have to, go in directions that don't feel comfortable, as you're saying, getting on stage and doing it, but don't be outcome oriented. Be present with that journey that you're taking. I use all these little parentheses here because of the nature of the stereotypical, form with words, but they're potent words. It's like light and love. It sounds cliche, but the power of light, the power of love is spiritually potent, so. If I had a phone call come, I hit the wrong button.
I was like, I'll just give it a moment.
Thank you. So sorry about that.
You almost came to an end there yourself.
Yes, there we go. All endings are here. Oh my God.
Someone's popular. Got it.
Anyway, I digress. You come back with that.
So and I was going to sort of touch base on a few things that you kind of mentioned in that little package there, was that, and it's not just, I suppose, the bigger things, like, not all of us are going on stages or doing platform shows or live shows or, and things like that. But I kind of, to make it more, I suppose, relatable for everyone is, there's endings in our everyday life in regards to completing projects set by your deadline, or, getting sort of like, even like, using love as an example, and maybe making that connection with a new relationship and telling them how you feel and telling them that you love them. That's not an ending, but it's by saying that you've kind of ended that question, or you've kind of ended that sort of unknowing of like, where's this going to go? And I think a lot of us struggle in that sense, or with other sort of deadlines as well, especially work deadlines, because a lot of us fear that ending sometimes, of maybe it's going to end in rejection, or maybe it's going to end in a sort of way that we don't want it to. Like, we kind of self-sabotage almost, because we don't know what the outcome's going to be or what the ending is going to look like, so we avoid it. So there's that side to it as well, which is where that fear does still kind of play into it.
Absolutely. I do. I love how you articulated that. There's death in every single moment. If we want to really break it down, like the second I just spoke, then there was a death or a change or an ending of that moment onto the next. And if you think about it from like those old, you can do it yourself, flip the cartoons to make a moving picture, like every single moment of our life. This is why choice is so present, particularly, in endings or change points. Because you can flick that, and the moment before it, like the drawing before it was slightly different, the drawing before that was slightly different. And that's the emotion in life, isn't it? That's the continuation of life. That's the momentum of life. And with each of those moments are opportunities to change, it's just happening so naturally for us and so evolutionarily. Ooh, there's a good one. Brain wanted to work on that one. Is this opportunity to, do we slow it down, or is it slow enough that we want to change it? Or how do we respond? How is our responsiveness? And as you're saying, it's on a day-to-day level, like changing one moment of that makes completely different formation of the next moment. That's so exciting. That's why I want to go to the excitement of endings. Because it's you choosing, it's you activating, it's you bringing that into play. Like, that's your power, everyone. But it happens again so naturally we don't realize, and we're consciously choosing in each moment, but we're not necessarily conscious of the choosing.
Yeah.
So breaking it all down. Am I echoing, Michael?
Not. I've got headphones on and I can't hear an echo. So unless other people can, it seems okay on my end. Okay, your audio is actually a lot more louder than it was with the headphones.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. But I can hear an echo of me, so I wasn't sure.
I can't. So I'll let production let me know if they can, but I can't.
Perfect. I'll leave it on. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So hi to Beth. So Beth, you're on a call before. So hi, I know you'll join us at some point. Hi to Jen. Good to see you as well. So if anyone that is joining in, hi and welcome. We're talking about sort of the positive and the excitement of endings and change and things that are coming, especially coming towards the end of the year that we are now. So if anyone's got a story that they want to share, or anything they want to sort of just share in general on how they feel, or what they've sort of experienced in regards to their sort of endings, we're happy to discuss. And speaking of what you're saying about the excitement side of endings, let's talk about, we're hitting that point of the year now where it's coming quite close to the end. There's already Christmas decorations, and we're already planning towards the end here. And, so there's that excitement of the year coming to an end. And a lot of people put, that sort of stress and expectation and pressure on themselves. And like we said before, it's sometimes we get to that point where we feel like we can just breathe. And it's like, well, we can do that now, really. But I sort of want to touch more on, let's make what, all that pressure and stress and excitement, not just with Christmas, but the whole end of year, commercialized expectation that we all put on ourselves. Let's sort of break that down and go, well, let's make that exciting. And to add sort of excitement to the wound here, it's a number 9 year. So let's talk about the fact that this actually is a year of endings.
Yes, isn't it powerful? So again, even this morning, my partner woke up and he said, I've cleared out this, I've done that, I've tidied that up, I'm preparing. And a lot of people are going to be feeling that same energy, preparation energy. I mean, we have been in it for the entire year, as you're saying, for a whole cycle. And there's sometimes that little push, I want to say, before the birth, like you've got the pregnancy and you've had all this time, and then all of a sudden all this rush comes in, you're getting closer to delivery, which is the number 1 coming on. And so in the 9s, you're making sure all the checklists are done. So the energy right now can also be of people, refining or even taking inventory of what they've done this year. And I think it's quite important that we really honour those processes, that we do take some time, like, to reflect, to understand even what we may or may not have achieved in the year, if we had certain goals or if we'd like new ones coming up, but to sort of keep on going again. It misses the opportunities potentially to then consciously choose or then make your own creations for a 1 year, which supports the birthing of new. It supports that new life. It supports, I like to see it sort of as the butterfly year. Like, this is when, like, so we've been in the cocoon, in the chrysalis,
Oh, yeah.
contending to that. And we're about to push out, or we're already pushing out in our own way, into a new form. And planetarily, that's what's being supported. And that comes around every 9 years. I think this is not like a new thing, but like, life is kind of got that spiral energy. And so if you can imagine that it's sort of spiraling up the next level, the next vantage point, the next points of evolution, because we are constantly growing, hence the changes. And so, yeah, again, discovering what you've done this year, but also what you would like from next year. It's an important thing. I think, I don't always stick to New Year's resolutions, even making them. Yeah, but at the same time, taking some space and some time to think about that, to goal intend, is quite potent, I think, as well.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, I don't sort of, believe in New Year's resolutions as such, but I do believe in goal setting for the year, or for at least, a realistic kind of time frame. And because sometimes we may not even reach our goals, and then that's okay as well. So I think, but it's having something to kind of aim for, not like, I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to, I don't know, do this, and I'm going to, and then you don't. So then you go, well, I failed, because you haven't. But if you kind of change that mindset, as opposed to a resolution, as opposed to, well, here are some goals I would like to achieve, and here's some steps I'm going to take to get there. I also kind of want to touch base on going back to sort of to the number 9 year and the endings and things like that. And as you spoke quite lovely about, like, all of that, what would you say to someone, because it's kind of come up with me a few times, and I've kind of sort of struggled on how to answer this myself. Obviously you go about it in your own way, but if someone sort of said to you, oh, what if I don't end things this year? Or what if I don't complete everything this year? What does that mean for next year? Is that okay? Or, what happens if I don't complete the things that I should complete, and it does carry on? What would you say to that person?
I would say that in Earth constructs, we are linear, and we apply a structure for linear. For example, this is a 9 year, next year is a 1 year, then a 2 year, 3 year. However, the evolution of our soul, it's allowed to blend and be malleable within that, because perhaps our life path number, if I reduce this to numerology terms, a life path number might be a 3. So really it's an ending potentially of a 3 energy. So it might be going into 4, into a physicality energy versus a creative energy. So what it is if you haven't constructed things by definition that you, feeling you should have, consider what the terms are. Are you living by the external terms, like the person that told you, really, on the day of the end of December, you are to completely change, so that the first day of January, you are to be something different? You can, no worries, we will go for it. However, if you're not meeting your expectations and you're feeling affected by that, maybe you need to be analysing the kindness and gentleness aspect of completion tasks, because you hit the nail on the head before, Michael, talking about pressure. If we can relieve the pressure from us, we'll find this journey of life a lot more achievable. Does pressure produce? Of course it can. Does too much pressure inhibit? Of course it can. So we have to find where our balance mechanisms sit, and that's what I would really extend to someone who is asking that sort of question. Come into your own alignment, into your own sense of balance, and then determine how you should be feeling about it. Because at the end of the day, if you have evolved even scary in this last year to who you were, you can reflect back and say, gosh, I've actually did things here that I'm really proud of myself. Even if it's in just one little area, you have evolved, and that is enough. You know, I'm really done with the construct of we're not enough this lifetime. That's not loving at all, and it's certainly not Spirit's view. So, yeah, that's my
Yeah,
2 cents.
definitely. Yeah, no, and I love that. And I think it is just a nice, important reminder that, yeah, you can quite easily put that pressure and expectation on yourself that, oh, the year's coming to an end. It's a number 9 year. It's this, it's that. Do the list of endings, that society and world and whatever is telling you. And it's kind of like, oh, but realistically, I don't think I'm going to meet that goal, or realistically, and that's okay. It's like, I suppose in a way, even just acknowledging that and knowing that you're sort of aware of that as well is enough to go, okay, I know I'm not going to complete this like I thought I would. So I'm going to realistically set myself some new goals to try and achieve that. Even if it's in the new year, it doesn't matter because you're still working towards that. So I think it's just a nice reminder for anyone who is watching to kind of go, oh, I've sort of started something. And like me, I've got an editing project. I did a film in February, and I've just been procrastinating and whatnot. And like, my goal is I have to get this film edited and completed before the end of the year because it's a film that was made this year. But my realistic goal is like, maybe I won't. Maybe the editing process will continue on into the new year. And I've learned to become okay with that.
Well done. See, that's the pressure of the deadlines that we've been conditioned with. And sometimes there's a bigger deadline. There's actually a divine deadline. I always say extend your best effort. But again, if it's a bit like a relay, you're running your hardest, you're reaching for the baton, but if for some reason you're not connecting with that baton in that moment, it's okay. Just keep running. Either the person in front of you will slow down to connect it, so the universe will meet you, or will speed up a little bit and you'll meet that deadline and on you go. But either way, you're going to connect with it at some point if that's what your desire is, and that's the nature of the holistic program. Yeah. So
I was just sort of something, yeah. Anyone who's watching and wants to share, if anyone has a deadline that they want to meet before the end of the year, or at least something that they're wanting to meet, put it in the comments. Let us know what your deadline is or what your goal is that you would like to achieve. Like, manifest it to happen for you in a group collective like this. If you've got like a deadline or a project that you want to have completed, that may not necessarily have to have a time frame, but just something that you want completed. Like me, I've got an editing job that has no deadline. It's my own work, but I would like to just have it done this year. So if there's a project that you're working on, let us know in the comments if you want to share, and we can help maybe manifest that sort of motivation to get it completed for you as well. Also, just a reminder that we're not doing psychic readings. I'm seeing a couple of questions coming through. So we're not doing any messages. We're not doing any psychic readings tonight. So save those questions for Saturday night with Harry T. That's when the psychic readings are done. They're not done on this show, but we are having conversations on a spiritual level. So if you want to talk about your version of endings or conclusions, or a project that you're working on that you want to share in the comments, feel free. We can have a discussion. That's a discussion type show tonight. But just a reminder that we aren't doing any psychic readings tonight. Hi, Terry. Good to see you there. Hi, Gayleen. Good to see you as well. And, of course, if you do want a psychic reading, you can go to psychictvinternational.com and speak to one of our psychics. Leanne is currently on a call on pin 9131, but Amazing Grace is available on 9888. Blessed Beth, who's in the thread, is on 9150. She was on a call earlier. Jag, our UK psychic, is available on 9160. Mystical L available on pin 9151. And Natalie Norm Baker available on pin 9810. And I did see Andrew wrote a comment earlier saying, I keep on seeing things around the death card and my guides are saying new big changes are going on. Actually, that's a really good topic that I actually want to talk about. You're probably thinking the same thing as me. The death card. We don't have to fear it. So what is the death? Say, I don't do tarot. So what is the death card? Do you know what the death card symbolizes?
Yes. So it is about a change point. It is about change, ultimately. Death is given consideration as the finality, which means that it's likely when you get that sort of element of change in the tarot cards that the change has to be cemented. Like, it is time. It's the universe basically saying, you know what, you've had enough of that program, you've had enough of that situation, and it really is time for change. It's not as dramatic as the tower. The tower will take you, like the universe has grabbed you by the neck and gone, all righty, here we go. We're doing this irrespective of your so-called free will. You just need this, and there'll be blessings in hindsight. The death card is about the change that is almost natural, evident. It's like the change of season. So it is calling on the timeliness of that. So if you are seeing that, Andrew, I'd take that as like, oh, great. I'm almost going to give myself permission to receive that change coming my way, because it's definitely time for it, you know. So yeah, that's what that.
Yeah, and I think too, as we sort of already touched on tonight as well, is just not fearing that change. I think it's really important to highlight it and repeat that message for anyone that's just jumped on. Is like, don't fear change, try to embrace it. I know it's easier sort of said than done. I struggle with change myself at the best of times. I'm very much a typical Virgo homebody type person, where when I get into my routine in my home, or just in life, my general routine life, I hate changing that. I hate changing my routine. I struggle, even though I know it's sometimes better for me. And once I get into that new routine, I feel so good as well. But it's that change in routine that it takes me longer than it really should.
Most of us will have an aversion to change, because again, our comfort zones are exactly that for a reason, aren't they? It's comfortable here. So that's one of it. And also because we haven't been taught, I'm going to say this, to rely on the larger constructs to support us in change. So faith. Well, some people have, of course, but if you're not relying on it, for me, it's like spirit always has my back. So irrespective of how fearful I'm there, particularly if I'm prepping for, a show or whatever it is that's getting me adrenalized, I'm like, no, they've got this. I'm merely doing the orchestration of my own life. Somewhere in me, I also know I've chosen this, so therefore I have capacity. So you retrain your brain to stop being the protector, and you retrain it to be working in the heart director, and that is a really powerful place to come from.
I love that. I love that. Andrew was saying that's interesting, because I'm wanting change to happen. And that's great. If you're wanting it, then you're already open to it. So now just allow it to come in. Of course, the universe has its own time schedule sometimes, so it'll happen at the right time as well. And Jessica has said, I'm going through the biggest change of my life. I love that. I love that.
I'm excited for that.
She also said being a Taurus doesn't help.
Oh, you earth sign cop out. Come on.
Yeah, no, look at us. Earth versus water. I think, it's really funny. Us earth signs, and I can speak on behalf on the ones that I know, we are quite stubborn. We really are. We really get stuck in our headspace, and I think a lot of us hate it. Every earth sign I've spoken to, including myself, actually doesn't sit well with change. It's really interesting, even though we're supposed to be the grounded ones. Maybe because we are grounded that we don't want to move.
Because I don't know. Exactly. When you're grounded, you have more of an earth, let's call it attachment. So anything earthy, you're going to feel comfortable with, and anything like water would be fluid. Air has got a gust of motion as well. They've got other motions within them, but the grounded state of you is actually what keeps you able to be structured and methodical, and that sort of plowing forward nature. So of course you'll have a bit more potentially resistance with change, especially if it's coming in from an emotional viewpoint, or other elements, or even mentally, so anyway,
totally. And Cassandra, our YouTube viewer, has said, this year has been one of the big endings for me in every aspect of life. It's only just this week I've learned to breathe and release. There is only a new beginning ahead.
Beautiful.
I love that.
I love how she understands, again, what is natural to us, but we can forget when we're in those ending cycles that it's natural to breathe again. It's new, it's the new will be embraced, the new breath.
And it's great that, yeah, as you said, it's great that to acknowledge that, because a lot of us kind of are going through a change or something similar, but don't realize it. They're actually, and we're kind of questioning, well, why is this happening? Why is that happening? It's like because we're transitioning, but you're not seeing it as such, and that's where the negativity and fear really do play. And you see endings as horrible and scary, and not as like, oh, this has to end so I can get this beautiful new thing come into my life.
Yes, yes. And look, I'm constantly re-educating myself with that as well. Every single change point that feels uncomfortable, it's like you've learned. Ultimately, something better comes, so be
It's
okay
like,
with that.
actually, yeah, and just on that, because it just made me reminder, rejection is also a good thing. So I just
Yes.
got rejected today from a job that I really wanted.
Yep.
And
It's aligning you somehow. Yes.
yeah, and I qualified more than, I probably even overqualified, which is probably why I didn't get it on some level. But I was like, no, this is a perfect fit, perfect everything. Ticked all the boxes from pay to location to work requirements, the hybrid lifestyle, all of that.
Yep.
All in my field in the film industry. And yeah, they just came back today, and it was even the director, which has never happened before, and I'm sharing this because you all need to know. But the director of the company actually, so I got rejected by HR as like and it wasn't a generic email. It was actually, they actually wrote to me, which was quite lovely. And then the
Nice.
director of the company that owns, because it's only a small production company, actually even wrote a small message to pass on to me. And I thought, they didn't have to
Lovely.
do that, but that was really beautiful, and it gave me a lot to go on.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea of like, yeah, but I still felt, horrible afterwards, because I'm like, all right, well, I've just been rejected. That's okay. I really do need a job, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, but I had to then quickly go, hang on a minute. No, no, backtrack. It's fine.
Mm.
There's a positive reason for this as well.
Absolutely. And I love the fact, because we are human, we have to feel it. We have to have that. We will have a responsiveness to the rejection element in that. But again, the re-education of it to go, actually not. And to see the level of support that you've had even in that, like the softening process, almost universally saying, hey, Michael, I know it looks like it's ticking all the boxes, but hey, we're going to get you something boxes plus that you didn't even realize you wanted, So it's like, it's all information, and so the fact you can see it is victory, irrespective of how you feel initially. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now everyone's talking star sign. So Beth has said, I don't like change. She's a Capricorn. So we've got Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus all in the thread. It's a very earthy based thread.
So
And saying, yeah, things when things are not in her control.
yes,
That's a big one
again,
too,
it's
letting go of that
natural.
control. Yeah.
Yeah. And yet, if you come from the premise of all of it is in our choosing, all of it actually is in our control, it's a control to the responsiveness, which is what you've just illustrated before, Michael, about the rejection stuff. It's that's where our real control sits. It's not in what we create or get or don't get this lifetime. It's actually in how we can, yeah, be creative in ourselves, in our responsiveness, in our seeing, as you're saying, the hard knocks. It's the people that are defined as successful have had so many hard knocks. Like some of the big business people, for example, have had 50 zillion knocks, have had bankruptcy, have had like all these trials, but their attitude, their perspective picks them back up and gets them going. And if you don't relate that obviously to success by that standard, success is literally like I've had clients that have had massive traumas. They've had people that they love leaving, obviously passing over. And I'm like, your success is just getting out of bed in the morning, and willing yourself to actually go on, So like success itself is defined differently too. And we shouldn't necessarily attach to that. We should just be going, hey, I'm doing a good job irrespective, Anyway.
No, exactly. And Andrew, I hope you're paying attention, because that applies to you as well. He's just said, been shown a lot of changes going on around me now and endings. And I'm just not surprised. I mean, that's why I kind of spoke to Jacqui and said that this would be a great kind of conversation, because it's the timing for it. It's everyone is being shown endings and changes, and and for those that might be a bit confused, it's kind of like, well, this show's kind of explaining possibly why that might be happening, because this is what's going on collectively. So really embrace it. And I always say surrender to it if you can.
Yes, definitely. Opposites of resistance. Like resistance will make it harder. It won't stop it. Like if you resist, I think it was Abraham Hicks who said it. What was it? If you resist the train when the momentum is in place, you're going to just get squashed. That's it. No two ways about it.
Okay.
So if you resist, better just to get out of its way, let it pass. Surrender at another level. So yeah. Anyway, I actually, my analogy is don't try and drive the car with the brake and the accelerator on at the same time. Just pick one or the other. Yeah.
Exactly. So Jessica, and this is quite interesting in a way. So Jessica has just said, because she said before she's going through the biggest change of her life, she's about to give birth to her baby girl in December.
Oh, congratulations.
That's so beautiful. But that kind of goes with a theme of giving birth. So, like
Yeah,
the new
good
beginnings.
timing.
Yeah.
You're literally going to be bringing in the number one with a number one. It's lovely.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. Yeah, and that's so true. Like, when you give birth to new ideas or people, it kind of brings in that new,
Yeah.
Um
She would be a perfect example of going through that process of preparation as well for birthing, like all the emotions that come into it, all the different stages of it, all the planning, all the adjustments, like you're mentally adjusting way back. And that is true in all cases. Like even in the illustration you had before with rejection, you are preparing for possibilities of all possibilities when you're job hunting, and of course we're putting the best forward with it, and then we deal with whatever comes up at the presence of it. So and there's such excitement. Like there was excitement potentially of getting that job. There's going to be excitement of having this baby, and there's also going to be trepidation of, will I get the job? How will this birthing go? Or how will me being a parent go? And you only have presents to turn up to and choices in every moment around it. Like even with the best birthing and parent raising books available to you, most of it is instinctive. And that is true of all endings and all beginnings and all workings. Like this is why I feel it's so important and why I spend so much time educating people. We are living in an intuitive era. Okay, we're in Age of Aquarius. No more stuffing around, believing that we're not able to get the answers ourselves. Come into personal empowerment, sit in yourself, listen to what you need to do, and ignore all these other external variations, and you'll find that you'll get clearer. You'll get the clarity you want. You'll get the projections that you want. It'll just be an easier place to come from. That's all. And so when you come up to face the endings of things, you can re-educate your brain because you've done the application of like, no, I'm solid in myself. I know what I'm worth. As you were saying before, I know what I'm worth in my job interview. There must be something better if that's the case, like, of course, So, and I don't say better, it's like we can coax ourselves with better, but it's certainly going to be in an alignment that is bigger and more appropriate for whatever purpose you're serving to go forward with. Sometimes we don't get the things we want, but we get the things we need.
Yes. Very, very good reminder.
Hard to accept that.
Yeah, really a good reminder, and one I definitely need to hear tonight, because we deserve the things that we deserve, kind of thing. So it's really nice to sort of to have that as well. And yeah, again, and you almost have to sort of repeat this every week or every chance you get, is, as you said, that intuitive feeling, that gut feeling that you get. It's like it does guide you. It is there. It's definitely one to listen to and trust. As well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as possible. You will struggle. I struggle. I've been doing this line of work for countless years, and I still have my moments of like, Am I really intuitive today? Like,
But as you said though, we are human as well, aren't we? You know,
of
and
course.
sometimes I know some days I'm not that intuitive. And that's when I know I just need to just take a day off because I'm
Yeah,
just not receiving clear messages that I normally would because, you know, I'm just not aligned or whatever I need to do. And
whatever. You're human, as you're saying. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
The
But I
wisdom
think
is
yeah,
in that. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, exactly. And I think, yeah, it's just really it's one of those topics that you can really go into so much detail and break down in regards to, you know, like, because change means something to someone else and endings is always different to someone else. And it's just, you know, but I think collectively though, depending on how you look at it, the sort of emotions are still the same, you know, a lot of the time, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's, you know, your ending, whatever you see as an ending is going to be different to the next person, the same as change and things like that. But I think we all sort of go through the same rhythm and same cycle of emotions when it comes to experiencing endings and change, you know. And I think
Absolutely.
it's,
Yeah.
and I really love the example of the breathing, as you said, like breathing in is the new beginnings and breathing out is the ending.
Yeah. Well, it's again, just we're doing it so naturally. You know, why then are we putting so much emphasis when it's external to us, you know, and that it doesn't feel natural? You know, of course this is natural. You know, but then, you know, you couldn't educate me in the moment if I've just lost a loved one to look for the happiness in that. You know, like
Mm.
sure we all do the best, you know, and of course we're going to coach ourselves, but you know, you're going to grieve. We're going to have all these emotions. We're allowed to be swamped by emotions. It's not about, you know, turning it off or finding like a shortcut. We're allowed to have the fullness of being human, but it is also in our best wisdoms to recognize that we also have the choices in every moment. And again, sometimes that's just your choice to get out of bed if you're not feeling like you want to,
Mm.
or the choice to stay in bed if you are feeling like you need to, you know? So, yeah,
And that's so
again,
true too, isn't it? Being okay with that, like being, I did that the other day actually. I was like, yeah, I just was like, I'm just gonna have a day in bed and be okay with that, you know? And it's not being in a negative headspace as such. It's like I just needed to just have a bed day.
absolutely. And that again is a wise choice to me. If your body is needing it, it's needing it. If your soul is needing it, it's needing it. You know, again, that's an intuitive pathway. That's listening to the internal you, which is what intuition is, you know, inside, internal, the responsiveness of your inner nature. Yeah. So anyway, it's good
Um,
because a lot of the planet, and particularly all of our viewers here, they're aiming for it, they're working towards it, or they're in it, and they're embracing it. And you know, you're embracing it. We're doing the best we can. That's the best we can do, you know. And so I think again, giving yourself gratitude for that, and giving yourself a pat on the back. It's an important part, particularly around endings. Like no one necessarily handles endings gracefully, but do we really have to? Who told us we had to? Was that a Hollywood movie I saw that told me I had to? I had to get it right and first time. Do you know how many cuts and actions and edits they have in order for the actors to get that right? No.
that's actually a really good point. Another one, not surprised, but it's actually like a really great way because it's so true though. We look at Hollywood, so cliche, Disney, beautifully done, but you know, makes me cry every time. But we forget that we're watching someone getting it perfect on screen, keeping in mind it's, you know, not real.
Completely imperfect.
um,
Yeah. It's
but
formation.
what
Yeah.
but it's exactly what you said. That one line, that one scene, and there's multiple lines and scenes when you're watching a, you know, a whole film, but then no actor, and I work in the industry so I can say this for facts, that no actor gets it right on the first line. Yeah, there might be some real legends out there that can, but for the most part, it takes actors a couple, it doesn't matter how many times you rehearse, they still have to take another take. And it might even be perfect the first time, but like me as a director, I might want to take that same line on a different angle. So they've got to do it again. You know, so I think I know it's silly, but just I think a lot of people don't. It's nice to kind of paint that picture of you're looking at something that's perfect, but it wasn't. filmed that way. And it
Correct.
takes 3 to 6 months to even just film that 2-hour film that you've just watched. So keep that in mind, that, and social media, you know, you see pictures of like perfect men and women looking like perfection, and most of it's now AI, so it's not even real. So it's kind of like, yeah, don't sort of take something face value these days, because it's probably taken a couple of goes together and a couple of fails and a couple of rejections and a couple of endings to get the result, and you're going through the same thing.
That's a process. That's a formation. It's not necessarily what's revealed to us, and it's important that we do remember that, because otherwise we're setting ourselves against a super standard, versus, let's call it, realistic standard. I know which one makes me happier is to think about my own standards versus having to be a certain way. And that's coming from someone who's had to live life a certain way. And I still battle with the sense of approvals and things like everyone else. But I remind myself often, you just need to be approving of your own behaviors, be ethical, be in integrity, be honest, be
And that,
be willing to
yeah,
fail,
yeah,
be willing to have shortcomings. Be
exactly.
human.
And be
Human being.
human. It's so simple.
Yeah,
Just be human, because that will show through. The truth will always show through, from all the fakeness and from all the, superficial endings and things like that. Like, just be real, and that will just shine through. I know you've given amazing advice and said a lot tonight, but what's one thing you can leave off with everyone that you just might think of that you want to share?
I feel like we just touched on it. The human being versus doing, trying, all of that is important to remember. But I also want to really say that all of us are intuitive as a species. Like, every sentient being on this earth, animals, humans being part of that group, we have a natural resource in us. And what Spirit advocates is that we feel into best pathways forward and most loving and kind and supportive in self forward by listening to our needs, by wanting the outcomes to feel better. So maybe the best thing I can leave us with is, if something feels bad, then find the version of that that feels better, that feels good. Aim for good,
Mm.
feel. Okay, that's probably what I'll leave tonight with, and thank everyone for participating in this awesome conversation.
And yeah, no, I was just digesting that. Yeah, no, thank you. I do really appreciate that. And those that jump on later, like, I know not everyone watches live. Some people come and watch it later. Some watch the replay later. And I've quite often watched our shows in the past and gone back and learned something, because I've not like listened to it properly, and I listen to it again and go, and it, resonates in another way. So I know a lot of people do that. So thank you again for watching, and thank you for rewatching if you're one of those as well. And thank you to Jacqui for being back on. It's been a delight. This will be your last show with me for the year, because I'm fully booked for the rest of the year. So
Yeah,
I probably won't have you on again until next year.
yes.
I know, which is weird to say, like, when you actually process that.
It's only a few weeks away, everyone. A few
Yeah.
weeks, we're in a new year. Can I also just do a little self plug? Anyone who's interested in connecting with me, JacquiKrystal.com as well. I do have a newsletter, and I only bring it out twice a year. I've got the new one coming, and it touches on a bit of the themes from tonight. So, but anyway, I'm doing the self promote. It's more that I want to just see if there's anyone who is engaged, that they have an outlet if they want to connect with me as well. So outside, of
Yeah,
course,
beautiful.
Psychic TV,
I was going
where
to
I'm
say, of
going to be
course, they can
alive
connect. They
after
can
the hour.
connect with you on the phones as well, so that's
Of
good as
course.
well. Thank you so much. I know I think you have a show with Harry at some point before the end of the year on a
I
Saturday.
do. Yes.
You do,
Yes.
yeah.
I
So
can't recall what date, but I do. Yeah, December
it's, yeah. No,
sometime.
I remember seeing your name. So people can still see you on a show
On the
to get
reading side,
readings
yeah.
later on. But thank you. I mean, you're my first ever guest on this show, so there's a sentimental connection with you, and I really do appreciate everything that you have to say. So
It's a joy.
it means
Thank
a
you.
lot, and it's great to chat to you before the end of the year. And I mean, we'll always be in contact anyway, but we'll definitely have you on early next year to start off the new year, and we can talk about new beginnings or something to, the opposite to
Yeah,
tonight.
why not? Yeah, that was great, Jim. But listen, thank you and to you and Psychic TV as a platform. You guys are just sonic. So thank you very much. And everyone who participates in this, I'm talking about everyone who
Yes.
tunes in regularly or even just once, like you guys, thank you. The energy is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, and I will see you in the new year.
Sounds great. Take care. Happy Christmas.
Perfect. Well, and thank you to everyone that joined in tonight. I know some of you do watch the replay and whatnot. Of course, you can go to psychictvinternational.com for a detailed psychic reading. And currently, we did have Leanne on a call, but she's now available. But we do have, yes, Mason Grace on pin 9888, Blessed Beth on 9150, our UK Psychic Jag on 9160, Leanne, who's now off a call, available on pin 9131. She's been busy tonight, so grab her while she's available. Mystical L on 9151 and Eleanor Baker available on 9810. It has been lovely to have your company. Of course, Harry is back on Saturday for his regular free mini readings on a Saturday night. I am back next Thursday with a guest, and I cannot remember who it is. I'm so sorry. I think it's one of our new psychics on next week. So we have a bunch of new psychics coming onto this show coming up to the end of the year. So it's going to be quite entertaining leading on to the next sort of few weeks. So I know we've had a few regulars, which has been fantastic, but we've got a couple of new ones coming on. So definitely stay tuned into a Thursday show. It's going to, definitely be entertaining as we break end of the year. Basically, my brain and mouth has just given up. So I'm going to leave before I embarrass myself anymore. Thank you to everyone who has watched. Go to psychictvinternational.com for a reading. Harry this Saturday for mini readings. And I am back next Thursday with a new guest. Thank you and good.